The Saturday Night Heroes. We're going to do a little bit of miniature painting today with one of our better miniature paintings, Nikan. And he's just going to kind of talk you through what he's doing and how he's doing it, and maybe ramble on a little bit about the mini. Prepare to listen to Nikan. All right.
Good morning. So we have some figures that I want to paint, and this is kind of like an Orgoth army. So they were all picked out for having kind of crazy, smiling, weird designs on their shields. These are a bunch of the different ones we're going to paint. So basically, when you got one that's got metal, you want to use primer. But if it's got this weird flexy stuff on it, don't use primer, because the primer will make it all fall off. So essentially what I'm going to do is what I call gross painting. I'm just going to go ahead and slather on the paint that the miniature has the most. And then for the fine stuff, that's where we add more. So here we go with the gross silver. We shake it and shake it and shake it, and then when we think we're done, we shake it some more. So again, this is very rough, and it may take a couple of coats for ideal coverage. So what I was looking for is an effect for these guys. There's something between like a demonic Teutonic knight and Vikings from hell. So for these guys, I wanted to start with a lighter color metallic and then hit that with what's called a armor wash. There's different kinds of armor washes. Different manufacturers make them. Your armor wash is essentially, it could be brownish, it could be blackish, but it turns metal paint into something really cool looking. So essentially with the gross job, this guy's almost all metal, so I just basically got to slather him with not too much, but a good first coat of silver. There's one coat. And we move to the next. It's much quicker to paint models in an assembly line fashion like this. You get a whole bunch more models done in the same time. Because really, when they're all done, they've got drying time and you can work on something else. These guys I got from Reaper Miniatures out of Texas. They cost right around $4 a mini for most of them. There's another guy. Every so often we reshake. I usually work out of the lid on this particular brand. I like the Privateer Press paints, but I like a lot of other paints too. This guy doesn't have too much metal, so I don't have to go all over him.
Some extra caps and some stuff with water in case it's useful for you.
Thank you. So this is like their commander. Their priest king, as it were. Again, all I gotta hit are the areas that are metal, because that's what I'm doing. The Orgoth have these screaming, leering faces, as you can see on the shield here. That's one of the reasons I selected this mini for this particular group. So this guy, I figure he's like a slaver. He's got a big old chain weapon that he can bonk people in the head with, and when they come to their senses, they'll be all bound up and ready for slavery. Basically, these are bad guys. They go around and take humans prisoner, and their technology and their magic is based off of the exploitation of souls. So a lot of their weapons have leering faces in them because there's actually souls trapped in the weapons or the armor. It's a very cool Privateer Press Iron Kingdoms concept. I always liked it. So I was thinking of what color to make these guys, you know. I mean, they've got, obviously they're going to have armor. I was thinking I want to use the Reaper Minis steel wash for these guys. That'll give them kind of a bluish, grayish hue when I go back over this with a wash. This guy's made out of metal. I love metal minis. I have a soft spot in my heart for metal. Not a whole lot of heck of a lot of skill involved in this part. It's just basically applying the pigment. You can mix paints, you can do all kinds of wonderful things with paints. I could add a hue to a metallic paint like this, but what it'll do is it'll reduce the amount of flake. So you wind up with an enamel that's less shiny. And you want shiny. Shiny is good. So I was thinking of what color to make these guys tabards. They're surcoats, they're fabric. And I don't know, I was thinking black and some kind of yellow. But not a yellow that I've got. It's really hard to make, if not impossible, to make a primary color by blending. So I don't usually try to do that. There's the main primary colors I like that I can't replicate are, of course, the main primaries and then your television primaries, your magenta, your cyan, etc. Those are too hard to replicate for me. Here's another guy with a face on his shield. He's got like a skull at his crotch. This guy's seriously Orgoth. And of course the horn's sticking out. Notice I'm painting straight onto the model with the enamel. Yeah, I dare not use primer on such a model. It's too wobbly. And the primer wants a solid surface to adhere to. And when it doesn't, it peels off in strips and globs. Better just to paint it straight on. There we go. Another one. This guy looks like a priest to me. I bet you he's the guy that basically takes their souls and puts them in cages. So he's like their reaper, their color. Figure he is metal too in a lot of parts. Not too much though, he's a priest type. It's a weapon for sure. Ah, there's an axer back there. Come to check out the proceedings. This axer right here, he was done with a similar technique, except I used the Secret Weapon Armor Wash. It's just kind of brown. It's a different effect that I'm going to do with these guys. And I got some War Witches. These are scary looking women. Float around. Whoop. They don't really have too much metal on them though. So I don't think it'll take me very long to do that phase for them. Oh, looks like I got all my units. These are War Witches. They float around with big banks of captured enemy souls and direct green lightning bolts and other horrific effects on the battlefield. So it's looking at them. I don't really see any metal. I think I'll come back later for them and hit them with primary colors. So right now these guys are drying. While they are drying, I can always keep myself entertained by doing other things. This guy is a Cyclops. He's actually a half-giant unit that I got a privateer press kind of helmet for. And I stuck one of the Cyclops Savage's blade on the end of his axe to make it a naginata. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing I did with them, but my gross painting is not going to be silver because that's not the main color. His main color appears to be flesh. So I will do him in a gross painting of flesh. When I got a lot of minis going, it's easy to keep it going because while some minis are drying, other minis are getting painted. It's always better to have a little bit thinner paint than thicker. And the reason for that is because you can always do more coats, but if it goes on too thick, you can't see the details. That's one of the first pieces of advice I got when I was painting from an experienced painter named Tracy. She said, thin it out just a little bit with these acrylics. And she was right. See, those are probably pants, not his bare butt, so I don't think I'll paint that. Gotta make sure we get under the arms. No big globs left anywhere. Those can take away from the effect. What is that? A little bit of flash. Alright, that's his first coat. I think he might need one more coat, that guy. Looking over here at my metal guys, I don't think they're done drying yet. I don't really trust that, so I think they need a little bit more time. So yeah, it's time to do some other things. Like, look at this gorgeous Ifriti. I got her for free for my order. She looks like a really big giantess. I'm looking at her going, if she's an Ifrit, what color could she be? Her flesh. Maybe some kind of sickening lavender color, perhaps? What do I got for that? Got this gorgeous purple here. That might be a little dark. Maybe if I lighten that up with something. Let's see here. Time to mix color. So we'll use this as the base and lighten it up slightly.
And give him a shot of the front. Give him a shot of the front blade.
That's a Privateer Press Beaten Purple. They have some amusing monikers for their colors. And yes, shake, shake, shake. Okay, so open this fresh one. So in order to paint her, I'm not going to need a whole heck of a lot, but I want to make sure. Here's the thing: when I blend colors, I have a hard time remembering what the heck I blended. So usually I try and make it simple: half this, half that, or something like that, so I can actually keep track of what the heck I did. So there's one gloob. I'm going to do one gloob of that, and then one gloob of this cheap stuff I got at Ross, which works great, but it just dries a little slower. One glob of that. There we go. Mix that up real good. And that's going to be the Ifrit's flesh. Beautiful. I chose that as my gross color because she's showing a lot of skin there. And as I look at that, it's a little bit thick. I'm a little worried there. So, thinning. Always an extreme small amount of thinning, never very much. Or it literally ruins the paint. Tiny, tiny amount is all you can ever afford with that thinning. Especially with the cheap paints. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, I like that color already. Very nice. I'm thinking maybe blacks and scarlets for the clothes. Let me get around to that. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Body. Even though she's only got a tiny little bit of armor on, I'm sure in the game she's like totally heavily plate armored, even though she's got just a little kind of scale top and stuff on there. Her bangles, her bosom, alright, her face. Never want to get too much on the face because then we ruin all the beautiful little details that we want to do later on the face. She's got gloves. Oh, those are hands. That's a hand. She's got hands. Back side. Okay, it looks like her flesh is done. So we'll let her dry for a bit. Now this little combination that I made here, it'll dry up unless I figure out a way to keep it from evaporating like that. Haha. Now it's not going to evaporate. I'll put it over here. It'll wait for the next phase. Sorry about that. Okay, dryness check. Let's see if these guys have started to dry. Oop, they're starting to dry. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll be able to work on them in a little bit. I want to give them just a couple more minutes. Maybe one more coat on this guy's flesh here. One more coat is just what he needed. All right, he's going to be good. Off this side. Okay, so back over to these guys and these witches. So now I'm thinking, what's the other main color they got? Well, it's probably their main color. So, some sort of chartreuse. A powerful yellow that just has a tiny, tiny bit of blue will yield something kind of what I'm looking for. So here's a base color. Signar yellow, again we're using, or Cygnus yellow, we're using Privateer Press. Shake it up. It's going to be a ratio that I can remember, which is a whole lot of this and a tiny, tiny, tiny little drop of blue. That's something I can remember. Okay. So for these ones here, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on because a lot of their garment is basically that. It's going to be that in black. Black will easily negate this, so I'll do this first. I'll make enough for all the little guys. So there's a whole bunch of yellow. Yellow, 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 yellow. Yellow, yellow. Okay, there's yellow. Should be enough for all my guys. Now I'm going to put on a tiny, tiny bit of blue. This is like the coolest blue. This is arcane blue. You can use it for all kinds of stuff. Here I'm going to use it just to slightly pollute this yellow. And this is such a delicate color, I'm going to use a different thing besides that brush to get it in there. I use its fresh own little brush. That's enough to pollute it. Alright, now when I mix it up, I should have what I'm looking for. See, it's a yellow, but it's got a tinge of something sinister. A little tiny, tiny bit of blue there. I think I need a little bit more of that blue. This is kind of fun for me. I like the color part because if you don't pick good colors, you can work and work and work on these minis, and then when they're done, you're like, eh, nah. All right, that should make it scary. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, now we got a green. A yellow that's also greenish, like a viridian green. But if I look at that, I'm not sure if it's green or yellow. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. Maybe a tiny bit more yellow. There we go. There we go. And we have a chartreuse. Okay, this brush is going to be just too fat for what we're doing for those models, but it will be just right for these war witches. Again, this is just the gross painting color. I'm going to come back in later and cut all the other stuff I need. Ooh, I'm liking how that just a suggestion of green makes it kind of creepy. There's one war witch. Another one. All right, 2. And 3. There's my war witches. Alright, now for my guys. So I'm thinking probably the insides of the cloaks. To keep this from drying so fast, I'm going to kind of herd it all into one zone. So I got less surface area over the whole paint, and I got more working time. Okay. So here I'm selecting my nice little detail brush here. Start going over these guys. So this one. The outside of the cloak is black, and the inside is yellow. He's got multiple layers of cloak going on here. Just remember, you don't ever want to handle stuff until the drying time is enough for the paints to dry. Because otherwise you just ruin it. It's not worth it. Look at that, and that'll be black, coming around. All right, and then this part, this has got to be more yellow over here. Alright. Oh, I like the way that's looking. Yellow and black, scuba diver, danger, danger, sea snake. Lots of nice combinations in there. Alright, we just got a little bit of something on him. Just one. This guy. We'll make him, it's got to be the insides of the cloak, so that's going to be just down here. Probably. That's all going to be black. This can be yellow in the back. Okay, and really that's all I think I'm going to do with him, the yellows. Because, oh wait, this thing here, if that's black, no, I think that's it. That's a good yellow. Okay. This guy I messed up a little tiny bit there. I got a little bit of yellow on him. So I'm just going to quickly go over that with a little bit of chrome. Yeah. Alright. Back to applying the yellow. This guy, the Slayer, he probably doesn't need too much yellow. I want to make sure I don't contaminate my figures when I pick them up. That's always a problem when you're going fast. So when I look at him, I don't really see, oh, there's yellow. The back of his little loincloth thing, that could be yellow. Not much else. He's kind of a metal guy. Alright, there he is. So for basing, this guy's going to wind up having a 40mm base, this guy, and then these guys will probably be the smaller 30mm bases. This guy doesn't really have much in the way of fabric, so he doesn't even get any yellow. This guy's got a cloak, so I got to do the back of that cloak in yellow. The inside of the cloak, as it were. I'm excited. I really am excited to see how the stain turns out on these guys, the armor wash. That's one of my favorite parts. Oh, yes, yellow. Okay. Now this underside of the cloak, that's kind of like its own side, but I generally like to do whatever the inside of the cloak is, I'll do the bottom too. Because who can get enough of this gorgeous, almost chartreuse, almost a chartreuse. Oh. All right, this guy, same. It's important too when you got a bunch of different figures like this that clearly weren't all designed together. You give them a sense of being one army. So your players can look at that and go, oh yeah, those are on the same side. Plus it kind of looks cool. So when you're designing how your thing looks, colors are so important, and giving a sense of belonging, of army-ishness to them is always a good thing. Okay, any other? Nope, that's all the outside, which we said was going to be black. So that's him. Any other inside? Nope, that's him. Okay, this guy. His inside of the cloak, if that's the back, the underside would be yellow. And that would all be black. And then maybe over here would be yellow too. Up inside in here. Coming up under here. Lots of black, but just enough yellow peeping out to give the impression of the underside being yellow. Yeah. Up in there. Back side. Yep. Alright, that's about all we got for him. A little taste on the underside. And, okay, that's it for all those guys. Just check the witches real fast, see if they need any more. Oh. Okay, so now, this color here I kind of like, so I'll just keep it in case I need to use it again. Put something over it so it doesn't evaporate. Oh, sorry. And go back to my purple that I saved. Looking at this Ifrit, she could use, don't want to coat her just yet. I might break the skin of the last one, and that wouldn't be too good. Let's go ahead and cap that. Okay, so looking over here at all these guys, I'm kind of thinking that I might as well go ahead and apply the wash. The wash is fun because it's really kind of lets this stuff show what it could be. And then I'm going to go over it later with all the other basic colors. So today's wash I'm going to use MSP. This is what's called their steel wash. It makes kind of a darker wash. You can make all kinds of washes with dark colors, but what I've noticed is these washes have a particulate that settles into the crevices. So if you dilute it, it really doesn't work as good. It wants to be applied full strength, and it wants to go on that way. So I'm going to select a brush where I can apply a reasonable amount at one time. There we go. Okay, so this stuff here, I'm going to actually use a little container to put it in. And I'm going to dribble it into that container. There it is. It's going to make a little bit of a magic effect. It's going to make the steel look like steel. So we'll start with this guy. And really all I'm doing is I'm just slathering it on. There's some excess that's going to run off, and that's okay. I'm early in the process. I can fix things later. This is really a dark one. I'm choosing a dark wash because these guys are, well, they're kind of evil. So I want them to have a dark steel effect. Now as I'm putting it on, it looks like I'm obliterating the model, but I'm really not. What's going to happen is it's just going to darken everything and it's going to settle into the crevices and really get that effect I was looking for. What will happen with washes is gravity will drive it somewhere. So you just want to make sure that the wash doesn't accumulate in a big bulbous glob somewhere further down your model. And I got to get some on his ass. Yeah. Without touching that yellow. No, don't touch the yellow. Yes. Oh, okay. All right, so there's the first guy. See what the wash does? It's kind of fantastic. This guy now, it just goes into all of his crevices and his little nooks and crannies. Ooh, it's scary looking. There he is. I just gotta let him dry. Once it's on, and you leave it severely alone until it dries. All you ever want to do is you want to just kind of dab the places where gravity has drug it. And there he is. Make sure there's not too much on any given part. Alright. There's the first guy. This is probably the darkest wash I ever work with. Normally my washes are much lighter than this. But these guys are evil Orgoths, so they need some serious, scary action going on. There he is. Oh. Make sure I go over all the points that got hit just then. Oh, I see a little holiday. In painting, what you miss is called a holiday. I just made another holiday. Right in there. Some more of this. Slaver guy. But I don't want to get this everywhere. I just want to get it on his shield and on his armor. You see why I left the black off? Because this would kind of come and pollute the black. That way when I put the black on, it's going to be the last coat I do over there. And whether or not I got the armor wash on it won't really matter. Alright, that's him. The Priest King. His shield is crying out for armor wash. This chain mail down there, or scale mail, whatever that is. So yeah, I'm mildly insane. I do these all a whole bunch at once. But I like the kind of experience of the mass painting. To me, it's kind of like a meditation. And it saves me time because I'm lazy. All right, there he is. Oop, a little bit under his shoulder pads. The bigger the shoulder pad, the more, I don't know. Big shoulder pads are cool. All right, dun dun dun. Look at that grimacing face. Ooh, I love it. All right, make sure I'm not going to pollute the models with my hands. More of the sacred juice. Juice. So faces and things, I kind of do those last because it's so important to have eyeballs and little grimaces and things. But I do them last. The beauty of acrylics is you just keep on painting. When you mess up, you paint over it again. As long as you don't make a zillion mess ups, you can wind up with a pretty model if you just put the time in. Looks like I missed a little bit of the yellow down here underneath him. Now these swords and things, they've got little souls trapped in them. So later on I'm going to do a little trick to make it glow with kind of a greenish soul glow. So that's one of the reasons I picked the yellow for the capes, is I wanted that to be complementary with the green soul light that's going to be kind of coming off of their weapons and grimacy facing face shields and stuff like that. That's why I picked the yellow for that very effect. I see I missed the back here. This all should be yellow back here, right over here, folded over. When he's a little bit drier, I'll come back with some of that yellow and hit that. The sleeveys. Napoleon hid his armies in his sleeveys. There it is. All right. There's another one. Make sure I get all the little holidays like that. All right. Thank you, sir. I have refreshments. Reinforcements have arrived. Okay. And now we got this guy. Oh, I forgot. He's got a shield. He's got a shield that I didn't do. I'm going to have to paint that shield first with, look, it's like a skull thing. I'll have to hit it with silver before I get to it. Can't leave that one undone. All right. A little bit more of this dark. So you can see now why I started with a really, really light paint. Yeah, this Quicksilver, this is about as light as they come. Because look what my dark did. My dark basically took it to the next level of black. So if I'd started with a much darker metallic, it would have been too dark. So that's why I used the silver, because I knew I was going to utterly destroy it with this dark stain. Oh, there's another one. Whoops. Touch the sword. Can't do that. Tidy it up there. Okay, this guy over here. All right, let me make sure I don't pollute the models with my hands. I'm going to go back through here and make sure there's nothing globbing up there. Nope, nope, looking good. A little globbing. Nope. Okay. Alright, oh, down there, is that a glob? Nope. Okay, and this guy. So he's got some metal. He's got enough metal on him to warrant some staining. So I look carefully at him, and really it's his breastplate. And yeah, he's pretty heavily armored. All those parts got to get that treatment. He's got some kind of a skull thing hanging like a sensor or something. I think that's how he catches souls. So we'll get that stained too. Get his vambraces and pauldrons and cuirass. A little bit more of our juice here. You can't put the stuff back into the bottle, no matter how you try, and I've tried. So I only take out what I need. I've tried sucking it up, I've tried everything, it doesn't work. Once it's out, it's out. They designed it carefully that way, I think. To buy more of their product, their beautiful product. Oh, I'm liking this guy. So I figure these crazy things sticking up off here, that would be like the typical yellow on the inside, I guess, and then black on the outside, so I'll have to come back and catch that. I didn't realize that that was what that was. And really, you know, a lot of it is just looking carefully at the model. What did the sculptor envision, you know? And the more of those details that you bring out, the more the model looks great. And when you honor the sculptor's vision. All right. That looks good. Next. Okay. Oh my gosh. I guess that's all of those little Orgoth guys. Okay. Oh, there's that shield. A little tiny bit of waste here, not too much. Okay. So now, I gotta catch up on the things I didn't do. Like I didn't make him silver, so I can do that. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. This can of paint right here is about 2 years old. It's still vibrant and alive because I shake it periodically. And when they're on their last legs, you can add a little tiny bit of water, but they're on their way out. They really want to be kept straight, not adulterated. There he is. Ta-da! There's a shield. Let that dry. Okay. I think now I can safely probably do the second coat on the Afridi's beautiful purple skin without fear of cracking or delaminating her previous acrylic coat. So here she is. I'll get that color that I saved. I basically capped it. Oop, don't want to get that on anything. But see, it's still liquid. It couldn't evaporate because I didn't let it. So since this is just a gross color, I can just go ahead and brush it right on. The second coat makes a big difference in terms of the actual tone. See how the dark is shining through here? It's because it's a darker plastic. That's one of the reasons I usually, if I do have a primer, I work with a white primer because I don't have to fight to get more layers of enamel to hide the dark. It's easier and requires less paint. That's why I usually will use a light primer. Some people use dark primer. It's a matter of preference. Alright, she's looking nice. I like her color. Alright, and back side. Paint those haunches. Alright, she's good. I like the way she came out. Put her. Alright, so that's enough for her. So now looking around at what I've got, these guys are all drying. I kind of take, it's risky if I touch them, but these ones are pretty much almost dry. So I can probably get some good work done on those. Specifically, robes. So here's a black. It's going to be too, how should we say, too viscous. It will need some water to make it good. Some of that out. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water. Just a tiny bit. All right, there's some nice black I can work with. Okay, so let's start with this one. She's got beautiful long hair, and she's got that, and she's got a back side and an outside to her robes. So I'm going to start with that back side of the robes. This is the effect I wanted. I wanted to have like a really striking kind of black, yellow brightness on these. So that's all the inside, that's inside, that's outside. See exactly where it is on the outside and what's on the inside. In there and up the back. All right. That's all yellow. And then over here. So then her hair, right? I could make her hair any color, but I've got a choice, right? I want to think, okay, first of all, ethnically, what color should the hair be? And then, what do I want? So her hair's got to be something. If I made it black, it wouldn't look very good. Why? Because it's going to clash with this. I'd want it to be something slightly other than black. Maybe a dark brown or something. But anyway, there's her little outside of the robe stripiness. Yes. Just what I wanted. Ooh, scary. Okay. And the next one. So outside of the robe means a lot of this one's going to be black. So looking carefully back here, I see it's really all just one drape. So if it's all one drape, it's black. I'm just following the rules. Once I set the rules for myself, it really, kind of frees you from having to think. If that's the side that's exposed, that's the color it is, that's the deal, that's the logic of the garment. Just follow what the model has. So you'll wind up with some models in the same army that'll have drastically different colors just because of the way that the fabric falls, and that's okay. And then I think I want her to have yellow sleeves, maybe. Let's see. Let me think now. Yellow sleeves, yeah. Yeah, maybe yellow sleeves. Okay, so we'll just have it be the top here. And then, of course, what I don't want to do is paint in there because that's where the inside is showing, where her dress splits. So she's kind of like that, yeah. Okay, so there she is. This one, I think I need a little tiny bit more water in here to try and stretch it just to finish this job. So outside for her, is actually in here. That's the inside and that's the outside. Huh, okay. Okay, so then look, she's got a top kind of thing here, but an exposed midriff. So let's give her maybe just some little, I don't know, a top. Top. That's all inside. This is outside. Like that. There we go. And the beauty of all this is that, of course, if we don't like it, we can paint over it. But I think I'm liking the way that this is turning out. Okay. So I'm looking over here, I did a little bit of a bridge there. Nice. Okay. Look a little bit more at that top. I put it over on this just to make the suggestion that it's kind of a shrug and it fell off of one shoulder maybe. Yeah, okay. And that can be revisited later. Okay, now I gotta get those guys. They should be dry enough for me to get the back sides of their cloaks. So, make a little bit more of this stuff. Black. Just a tad of water, not too much. Okay. Make sure I don't pollute the figures, it's my hands. Okay, so this guy doesn't need any. There's nothing I can really paint black on him. This one doesn't need any, he's all made out of metal. This guy though, he will. He's going to have some black pieces. So in particular, his robes must be black. So starting on those. All right. Now, but carefully over here, that's kind of like a piece of metal, so I don't really want to mess with that. Nice thing about black is if you're trying to, fill in a dark, deep crevice, black generally will fill it, and even if there's some other color there, half the time you can't tell the difference as long as you put black in there. Okay, so there's the Priest King's front. Yeah, okay. Flip him around. Now he's got a back, but he's also got this long trailing thing here. I'm thinking this long trailing thing and something in the front here could be an accent color. Something most of the troops don't get, because he's a command unit, maybe he'll get a little something extra. Some other color. So I'm thinking, right, okay, so we got these yellow, we got a black. What's a good accent color? I'm tempted to go a little bit greener on the chartreuse. Just tempted that way. A little bit greener on that yellow. Oh, ho, ho, ho. There he is. Dun-dun. Okay. This guy. Back of the cloak is black. That's pretty simple. Yeah, running out of black. Need more product. And that's really supposed to be yellow, so I'm going to leave that. So the yellow doesn't have to fight through the black. That's all good, that's all good. That's all supposed to be yellow down there. That little mistake will be covered up. That's him. He just needs a little bit of yellow repair. For him. This guy, he's got kind of a spiraling cloak that's swirling around him. So he needs a bunch of this. So I'm thinking for this guy, there's a knockout mechanic in the Iron Kingdoms game, where if you smack somebody with something that's, I don't know, club-like, there's a chance of them to pass out. I think that's the way I want to go for him in terms of rules when I write him up for the game. Have him be able to knock people out with his smacky flail thing. There's that. There's that. I'm just following the fabric. Whatever the fabric has, that's what I'm following. Oh, a little bit went outside. That's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see some white lights in there. I don't want to have that. Okay, and then the back part. I'm gonna get the top where it attaches to. Right up in here. So that's all fabric, that's not metal. All that is fabric. And that is pretty much it for him. I just got to touch up the yellow a little tiny bit. All right. Oh, holiday alert. You just got to turn the models this way, that way, the other way. It's so easy to miss those holidays. And then later on you see it and you're like, ah. And open up the paint pot, get it all done. So it's always good to hit it on the first go. All right. All right, there's him. This guy, he's got quite a bit of black. Almost done here with these guys. Oh my goodness, at least these initial layers. Then there's all the fun stuff like eyeballs and faces and glowing green souls and cool stuff like that. But foundations. Gotta start with the start. Okay, so the outside of this little thingy here, that's going to be black. And the inside is going to be that yellow. Okay. Turning it around. Oh, there's a whole bunch of black back there. Little pouches and things like that. I always try to go brown with them or something else because you want to have a bunch of weird incongruous colors too to make the model look good. It can't just be the same. You got to start, there has to be, in other words, contrast. So you can do all these things, but if you try to make the model all these colors and no warm colors, like all cool colors, no warm colors, it's less effective than if you have some weird incongruous things in there too. Like I could choose to have all of his straps and everything be black, but they would blend into the model. So there'll probably be something more organic like browns. Something to break up the monotony of the otherwise fairly stark color scheme. All right, that's him. this guy? Ah, the metal one. The moment you pick them up, you can tell they're metal. Soft spot in my heart for metal figures. Okay, so I'm looking at that. What the heck is that? That is metal. That whole thing is metal, but this is supposed to be fabric. So I gotta get that fabric part black. That's fabric. Fabric next to metal. So what is that? Metal. Metal, metal, metal. Oh, oh, oh. Hit that part. Refused stroke. Right. Nice. Take one look more at that. Get a little bit more on the refused stroke there. I love it. Alright, there he is. Ta-ta. Okay. Look again at these guys. She needs a top like the other one does. Oh, yeah. Alright, that. Well, that's gonna be flesh. Flesh, metal, little details. Okay, that looks good. Looking good. Oh, a little bit more on the outside there. Okay, she's looking good. Done with that. A little Cyclops. Really thin paints there. Probably needs another layer of flesh. So what's wrong with this flesh? It's too old and it's been thinned out too many times. But it's okay, because if you have a thin paint, you're just going to add more layers. Alright, let him try over there. Okay. Done? So, chair? Ooh, a chair. Yay. I get to switch my chair. Okay, so this stuff hasn't dried yet all the way. I can still use it, so I might as well use it up on that shield, which I painted. The guy's shield. Get that treated with the same stain as everything else has. Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying, yay! Okay. And that is, ooh, scary. He's scary. Okay. So now I've got a lot of the basic stuff done on a lot of these guys, but I'm not done because there's a bunch of other details that I need to do. One of which is I need to add organics where they occur. Like for example, this guy, he needs leather. He needs something to denote that there's a handle on his sword, something to break up the monotony, like I was saying, of the same. So here's a nice bloodstone brown maybe, or something even a little bit darker than that maybe. Let's take a look. No, I think this is probably going to be good. Because again, it will be something in contrast. Here's a bronze. Oh, here's a darker brown. What else I got? I'm going to use umber. All right, let's see how this umber looks. Okay, so I've got a little bit of organic on his weapon hilt. It's probably wrapped in leather. So just that tiny little touch alone makes it less soulless and all one color. These straps he's got, nope, that's it. That's the only leather I can see. Look carefully in the back of his armor. No, nothing. Nothing that I would want to paint. So that's it. What he's going to need is he's going to need something to make his eyes and things glow for the various like faces he's got. But we can get back to him. I'll go down the line and look for organics. So here we got some organics on his sword hilt. Not too much, but some. I'm noticing that my wash isn't completely dry, so I have to stop. I have to stop on him. I don't want to go too fast. This guy has a wooden staff. I'm thinking I could probably do that wooden staff in this brown organic here. This is Privateer Press again, Bloodstone Brown. Oh wait, Blood Tracker Brown. Oh, need a little bit more mixing on that. Flipping it over. Okay, that's him. I don't see anything else that's wooden, so... Oh, I see something there. His mace is wrapped with leathers. I could make that a light leathery thing. And then later hit it with a wash. Yeah, that'll be nice. Alright, there's him. Oh yeah, and he had that little fanny pack thing. That deserves to have a different color organic. We'll get back to him. So I think I need to go ahead and get just a few more bits of that dark organic done. So I'm going to use his handle of his flail. That's him. The handle of his sword. Okay. Any other organics? Done. That guy. Handle of his sword. Oh. Okay. Done. Handle of his sword. This guy was still wet. Oh, he's dried up in the past couple of minutes. No, not really. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and make that new color and touch up. So here is that color that we had for their cloaks. I'm going to go through and I'm going to touch it up wherever it's in trouble. So on this guy, there's a couple spots that needs to be redone. Alright, he's looking good. This guy, right there, there's a holiday. Oh yeah, the whole back part of this I didn't do, that's right. I'll get back to do that. sure I do it all the way up to where it actually ends. Just right there. Nice. I'm still missing a little bit of black there. That's okay. All right. It's done. Okay, so now I was going to make a new color for him, for the command unit. A little bit of a greener color. So of course, all I got to do for green is add a little bit more of that magic blue in here to get something scary. There we go. Scary green. Definitely you can tell this green apart from the green that they already have, from the yellow they already have. So here it is on the front. Oh yeah, that's green all right. Notice how it's just a tiny little bit of blue more than what I had before, but it works. I'm going to do that on the inside of his sleeves too. Let's see. Oh, I'm happy I did that. I'm happy with the color. It is creepy and ghoulish. Yes, the Priest King. Okay, cool. Priest King, good. Oh, he's got a little sleeve in there I didn't see. What do I do with the sleeve? Well, the inside of the sleeves are supposed to be yellow. Therefore, get back to that yellow color. Okay, and then I got a little bit of stuff on the outside there, but that's all right. I'll fix it up. The beauty of acrylics, you can paint over stuff. All right. There's the Priest King. Ooh, scary. Okay. So looking at that green, I think I want a little bit of that green here and there because I kind of like it. So I'm going to make that on the inside of the Soul Reaper's sort of cowl thing. I'll put that on there. This is like kind of like their little trim color they got going on. So right there, boom. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit of that trim color. This way. Okay. Looking good. Just do a little bit of that around the edge here. On the top here. The War Witches. Let's take a look at their stuff. They can have a little bit more flexibility of color if I add the green down the middle. Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's what they wanted. Nice. When I put the legs and everything else on there, that's going to synergize nicely with that. Oh yeah, that little accent color is paying off. Okay, for him, the accent color could be as little as the tassel on the end of his weapon. Nice. For him, he doesn't have much room for anything. This guy, he's good. This guy, yes, I can put a little bit of that on his loincloth thing. Because I'm kind of using it for loincloths, I guess. Nice. Okay. Looking at these different guys. Yep. All right. So what really needs to happen with these guys is they need to dry so that I don't just utterly violate them by painting and painting but then disturbing what's not quite dried. So I'm going to go ahead and call this session to a halt. It's been a great pleasure talking with you. Eventually we'll paint them again and again and again until they're complete with all their various details, their flesh tones and everything else.
Alright, so that's the end of our miniature painting stream for today, and hopefully we'll see you guys next Sunday, maybe 2 weeks from now, and finish these up. Let you guys take a look at what they look like when we're done. Thanks for tuning in, and